Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sleepy Biologist. Before we dive in, I'm curious, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comments. I love seeing how far our little sleepy science community reaches. Now let me ask you a question. What kind of animal sleeps, but keeps one eye open the entire time? And why would evolution even want that? Let's find out. Imagine this. You're lying in bed, your body finally starting to relax after a long day. One half of your brain begins to drift off into sleep. But the other half, it stays alert. One eye closes, the other stays open, just in case. You're technically asleep, but still able to notice movement in the room, process sounds, maybe even prepare to run if something felt off. Sounds like a scene from a spy movie, right? Except it's not fiction. This is real, and it happens every day in the animal kingdom. We, as humans, tend to think of sleep as a full shutdown. Body still, brain off, eyes closed. Complete vulnerability. But in nature, sleep is way more flexible, way more inventive, and sometimes way more bizarre. Some animals have evolved to not go fully offline. Instead, they developed a way to stay half awake. Literally, their brain splits the job. One hemisphere sleeps while the other stays awake. One eye shuts, the other eye stays wide open. And if you're thinking that sounds impossible, well, you're about to discover just how clever nature really is. The idea of sleeping with one eye open isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a real evolutionary adaptation called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. That's a mouthful, but basically it means half of the brain is sleeping, the other half is not. And it's not a metaphor. Scientists have actually recorded brainwaves from animals in this state. One hemisphere shows deep sleep waves, while the other is in a wakeful, alert state. It's as if the animal is resting and keeping watch at the same time. But here's the part that'll really mess with your idea of what sleep means. While one side of the brain is sleeping, the opposite eye closes. So if the left hemisphere of the brain is resting, the right eye shuts, and the left eye stays open, still scanning the environment for threats. It's like built-in biological security. Now pause and think about what that might feel like. Imagine walking through a city street with one eye closed, half of your brain powering down, but you're still making micro-adjustments, sensing motion, reacting to loud noises. That would be exhausting for us, but for some species, especially animals that are at risk of being eaten or attacked, it's a survival superpower. This ability isn't rare either. Many birds do it. Marine mammals do it. Some reptiles may do it. And every time researchers study a new group of animals, they seem to find more evidence that nature has wired them to never completely let their guard down. If you've ever tried to sleep in a new place, say a hotel room, and felt like your brain just wouldn't switch off all the way, you've actually experienced a mild version of this. Scientists have found that in unfamiliar environments, even humans show a slight increase in alertness in one hemisphere during sleep. It's like a mini, temporary version of what these animals experience every night. But where we just have occasional light sleep, these animals have perfected the technique. They're always on edge, even when they rest. What's even more fascinating is that this ability isn't just used on land. In fact, some marine mammals have evolved to rely on it because of their need to surface for air. Dolphins, for example, can't go completely unconscious like we do. If they did, they'd drown. So instead, they let half their brain sleep while the other keeps them swimming and surfacing automatically. Half-asleep dolphins have been observed swimming in slow, controlled circles while resting, still breathing on cue, still monitoring their environment with echolocation. It's like dreaming while on autopilot. And then there are birds, swallows, geese, ducks, that migrate thousands of miles in the air. Some have been shown to sleep while flying, closing one eye mid-flight for just seconds at a time. Researchers have placed tiny EEG monitors on migrating birds and discovered that they can nap in mid-air without falling from the sky. One eye closed, one eye open, one wing slightly dipped, still in flight, still alive. This is one of those moments where biology goes from kind of interesting to completely mind-blowing. The idea that sleep doesn't have to be all or nothing, that rest and awareness can coexist, forces us to rethink what rest even means. And the deeper you go into it, the more you realize nature didn't design sleep to be convenient. It designed it to work, even if it had to bend the rules to do it. So while we humans tuck ourselves into bed, both eyes shut, doors locked, alarms set, there's a duck floating on a pond right now with one eye open, keeping watch for predators. There's a dolphin skimming the surface of the ocean, half asleep but still thinking. There's a bird riding a thermal current across continents with just one eye closed for a quick nap in the sky. It's strange, it's beautiful, it's biology, and we're just getting started. So now that we know some animals really do sleep with one eye open, the question becomes, how? How does this actually work on a neurological level? What's going on inside the brain when only one side is asleep? This brings us into the fascinating world of something called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. At first glance, that might sound overly technical or even a little intimidating, but it's actually a beautifully simple idea, at least in terms of what it allows animals to do. Unihemispheric just means one hemisphere, and slow-wave sleep refers to the deepest stage of non-REM sleep, the kind where the brain truly powers down to rest and recover. So, in animals that use this adaptation, one side of the brain literally enters deep sleep while the other remains awake, aware, and alert. The most mind-blowing part: this isn't just theoretical. We've seen it. Scientists have placed tiny electrodes on the heads of animals like dolphins, seals, and birds, and recorded real-time brain activity while they were resting. What they found was nothing short of remarkable. One hemisphere showed clear patterns of slow-wave activity, the kind associated with deep sleep, while the opposite hemisphere showed wake-like activity, fully capable of responding to environmental cues. This isn't just background noise either. Animals in unihemispheric sleep states can respond to real-world dangers. If a predator approaches or a threat appears, the awake hemisphere can process that information and trigger a full-body response. Flight, diving, fleeing, whatever the animal needs to do to stay alive. That ability to sleep and still survive in a dangerous environment. It's the reason this adaptation evolved in the first place. Take birds, for example. In flocks, it's been observed that those sleeping on the edge of the group, where predators are more likely to attack, are more likely to keep one eye open during rest. That open eye is facing outward, away from the safety of the group. Meanwhile, birds in the center of the flock tend to shut both eyes and rest more deeply, protected by their neighbors. This tells us something profound. Even sleep can be social. It can be coordinated across a group, depending on your position in the pecking order or your proximity to danger. Even more fascinating is that animals don't just randomly switch sides. There's a rhythm to it. In many species, the two hemispheres of the brain will take turns sleeping. One side might rest for a few minutes, then wake up, handing over the job to the other hemisphere. It's like a biological relay race happening inside the skull, brain hemispheres taking turns resting while the body keeps functioning. The animal stays balanced, both physically and neurologically, without ever shutting down completely. In dolphins, for instance, this switching pattern can last for hours. They might swim slowly in circles with their left eye closed, indicating the right hemisphere is asleep, and then after a while, switch direction and close the right eye, letting the left hemisphere take its nap. This symmetrical pattern of behavior matches what researchers see in brainwave recordings. And yes, while doing all of this, the dolphin continues to swim, surface for air, and even interact with others in its pod, all while technically being only half awake. Humans, for the most part, don't experience sleep this way. Our two hemispheres tend to sync up during rest, entering similar sleep stages at the same time. But interestingly, in unfamiliar or stressful environments, studies have shown that we might experience a very mild version of this phenomenon. For example, in sleep labs, researchers have found that people sleeping in a new place for the first time, known as the first night effect, tend to have reduced slow wave activity in the left hemisphere. That side of the brain stays slightly more alert, possibly scanning the environment for threats or just remaining cautious. It's not full unihemispheric sleep by any means, but it hints that we may have retained some evolutionary trace of this adaptation. There's also a huge question that scientists are still puzzling over. What does it feel like to sleep this way? We don't know, of course, because dolphins and birds can't exactly tell us what their experience is like. But imagine what it would mean for consciousness. If half of your brain is asleep, are you half dreaming? Do you experience split awareness? Or does the awake side simply take over entirely, leaving the resting hemisphere in the dark? It also raises big questions about memory, attention, and learning. Do animals consolidate memories the same way during unihemispheric sleep? Do they lose out on anything by not letting both hemispheres rest at the same time? Or does the brain make up for that over time, balancing the load equally between the two sides? Some researchers believe that the brain may still engage in basic restorative functions during unihemispheric sleep, but others think that full bilateral sleep is still necessary from time to time. And sure enough, many of these animals do occasionally enter brief periods of bilateral sleep when they're in safe environments, such as when dolphins rest in captivity or birds nest far from predators. What's clear, though, is that unihemispheric sleep isn't just some quirky outlier. It's a fully evolved, deeply practical solution to a biological problem: how to sleep without dying. Evolution doesn't create perfection, it creates efficiency, and this is a prime example. Nature found a way to let animals rest without fully disconnecting from the world around them. It's also a humbling reminder that what we humans consider normal, like closing both eyes and fully checking out for 8 hours, is actually not the norm across the animal kingdom. In many environments, that level of vulnerability would be fatal. For animals that live in constant threat, or in environments where breathing is a conscious effort, shutting down completely is a luxury they can't afford. And so they adapt, beautifully, precisely, and in ways that still baffle us. The more we learn about this phenomenon, the more we realize just how little we know about sleep. It's not just about rest. It's about balance, awareness, and survival. It's about brains that know how to stay half awake. Because in the wild, even while sleeping, You can't afford to let your guard down. Now that we've peeked into the strange world of one-eyed sleep and the split brain balancing act behind it, let's meet the creatures that actually do this, the true masters of half sleep. Because this isn't some rare quirk confined to a single weird bird species or an unusually clever dolphin. No, this ability shows up again and again in some of the most fascinating, highly adapted animals on Earth. Let's start with birds. Birds are among the best studied animals when it comes to unihemispheric sleep, and it makes perfect sense why. Many of them live exposed lives, nesting on cliff sides, roosting on high branches, migrating thousands of miles over open ocean and land. For these fragile creatures, sleep isn't just a time to rest. It's a time when they become incredibly vulnerable to predators. And birds, perhaps more than any other group, have evolved to treat sleep as a balancing act, a constant trade-off between rest and awareness. One of the classic studies involved ducks sleeping in a line. Scientists placed ducks in a row and observed their eye behavior. The ducks in the middle of the line, the safe zone, would often close both eyes, resting deeply. But the ducks on the ends of the line did something fascinating. They kept one eye open, and it was always the eye facing outward, away from the group. It was like having a biological security system, with sentinels posted at each edge of the flock. Those outer ducks would periodically switch sides, trading places with others in the group, so everyone got a turn to rest. The coordination of it was so precise, so mechanical, and yet it had evolved naturally over countless generations to protect the whole group. This is sleep as teamwork, as vigilance, as a kind of shared responsibility. But the more you zoom out, the more widespread this behavior becomes. Frigate birds, enormous seabirds with wingspans over 2 meters, have been shown to sleep while flying. Scientists attach tiny EEG devices to these birds and track their brain activity over long migrations. The data was astonishing. The birds were flying for days, often hundreds of kilometers at a time, and they were still managing to squeeze in short bursts of sleep. But here's the trick. They only ever let one side of the brain sleep at a time, and only for seconds. Imagine napping in 2-second microdoses while gliding over an ocean with no land in sight, and then waking up instantly with full control of your wings and direction before drifting back into another momentary sliver of sleep. That's not just endurance, that's neurological precision honed by evolution. Marine mammals take things even further. Dolphins, in particular, have become the poster child for unihemispheric sleep. Because dolphins are voluntary breathers, meaning they must consciously come up for air, they can't afford to fall into a full, unconscious state like we do. If they did, they'd drown. So instead, one hemisphere of their brain sleeps while the other stays alert enough to maintain movement, breathing, and awareness of their surroundings. They swim slowly in circles, their open eye scanning the water. Every few minutes they surface for a breath, and then continue their loop, still half asleep, still alive. In captivity, this has been confirmed with electrodes that track their brain waves. The sleeping side of the brain displays classic slow wave patterns, while the awake side shows desynchronized, alert activity, just like a human's brain when we're fully conscious. Even their eyes cooperate with this process. The eye connected to the awake hemisphere remains open, often blinking or responding to stimuli, while the other eye stays fully closed. It's an elegant, literal split between vigilance and vulnerability. Seals, too, exhibit unihemispheric sleep, but with a fascinating twist. On land, they often sleep like humans, both eyes shut, both hemispheres asleep. But when they're in the water, that changes. There, just like dolphins, they switch to a half-brain sleep mode. This flexibility suggests that their sleep strategy changes depending on risk, and that they can toggle between full sleep and half sleep depending on where they are and what's happening around them. It's a biological response to context, and it shows that even sleep is not a fixed behavior. It's adaptive, dynamic, and responsive to the environment. What's more, researchers have begun finding evidence that this type of sleep might not be limited to just birds and marine mammals. Some studies hint that reptiles, like certain species of lizards, might also exhibit unihemispheric sleep, or at least asymmetrical eye closure. It's still an emerging area of research, but the fact that scientists are even seeing signs of this behavior in cold-blooded animals suggests that the roots of unihemispheric sleep might run much deeper in evolutionary history than we thought. And here's something that makes it all even more fascinating. The animals that exhibit this sleep style are not particularly closely related. Birds, mammals, possibly reptiles. These are all distant branches on the tree of life. That means this ability likely evolved independently multiple times in response to similar pressures. It's what biologists call convergent evolution, when different species arrive at the same solution to the same problem, even though they're not closely related. It's like nature saying, again and again, yes, this works. This is how you survive sleep. What makes these animals the masters of half-sleep isn't just that they can do it. It's that they've optimized their entire physiology around it. Their brains are wired for this. Their eyes are trained for it. Their bodies cooperate with it. In some cases, like in dolphins and certain birds, even their muscles and respiration patterns are synced to match the brain's alternating sleep cycles. It's not just a trick. It's a lifestyle. And it forces us to rethink how sleep fits into the picture of survival. We often think of sleep as downtime, as unproductive, even as a weakness. But in these animals, sleep is something else entirely. It's a calculated strategy, a state of semi-readiness, a way to recover just enough without ever letting go completely. It's sleep not as escape, but as management of risk, of energy, of attention. For them, every night is a tightrope walk between rest and reaction, and they've turned that balancing act into an art form, a quiet, invisible choreography playing out in brains split right down the middle. While birds and marine mammals may be the champions of unihemispheric sleep, there's another surprising category of animals that might be using this ability, and they do it without wings or flippers. Reptiles, long seen as relatively simple when it comes to brain function, are beginning to challenge what we thought we knew about sleep in the animal kingdom. Recent research is revealing that some reptiles may also sleep with one eye open. And it's not just for show. It may be part of a more ancient and widespread sleep strategy than anyone previously imagined. One of the most intriguing examples comes from studies on lizards. Specifically, scientists have observed behaviors in Australian bearded dragons that suggest they enter different types of sleep, including something that looks very much like unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. These lizards have shown patterns of brain activity that alternate between two hemispheres, similar to what's seen in birds and marine mammals. While they're not keeping one eye open in quite the dramatic fashion of a dolphin or duck, the electrical activity in their brains hints at an internal division, a kind of left-right tug-of-war happening beneath the surface. Even more fascinating is what researchers noticed about their eye movements. When one hemisphere became more active, the eye on the opposite side of the head would sometimes open or become more alert. This mirrors the contralateral eye response seen in dolphins, the idea that one hemisphere controls the opposite eye. In these reptiles, it seems that the eye on the more alert side of the brain remains slightly more reactive, even during rest. This discovery challenges a long-held assumption that such advanced sleep strategies are exclusive to birds and mammals. It suggests that unihemispheric sleep, or at least something very similar, might have evolved far earlier than we thought, possibly in the common ancestors of reptiles, birds, and mammals. That opens the door to a completely different understanding of the evolutionary history of sleep itself. And the implications get even wilder. If reptiles, creatures often dismissed as having primitive brains, can split their sleep across hemispheres, what does that say about our assumptions regarding brain complexity and consciousness? For decades, the narrative was simple. More complex brains, like ours, need more complex sleep. But unihemispheric sleep flips that on its head. In some ways, these creatures have developed a more sophisticated approach to survival, staying partially aware of their surroundings even while resting. There's another layer to this. Reptiles are cold-blooded. Their entire metabolic system runs slower than that of birds or mammals. So their sleep needs, at least on paper, should be minimal. Yet here they are, showing evidence of specialized, dynamic sleep behaviors that go beyond mere inactivity. That tells us that sleep isn't just about refueling the body. It's about maintaining cognitive function, memory, vigilance, and perhaps even learning. It's not just an on-off switch. It's a deeply regulated process, shaped by environment, biology, and evolutionary pressure. Of course, the research is still developing. Unlike dolphins, it's harder to attach electrodes to a lizard's tiny brain or observe them in action for long periods. But scientists are getting creative, using infrared cameras, brain imaging, and high-speed behavioral tracking to gather clues. And again, the data points to something we didn't expect. Reptiles may not be so different after all. This raises a fascinating possibility. If reptiles, birds, and marine mammals can sleep in this split-brain state, could even more animals be doing it, right under our noses? Could some fish, for example, exhibit similar behaviors? What about amphibians? Or perhaps certain nocturnal mammals that we haven't studied closely enough yet? The more we learn, the more we see how fluid the definition of sleep really is. In fact, some fish species already show signs of partial vigilance during rest. Parrotfish, for example, are known to secrete a protective mucus bubble around themselves at night, not just as a barrier, but possibly to help them rest more securely. And sharks, which must keep swimming to breathe, engage in what looks like rest with their eyes partially open. Whether this is truly unihemispheric sleep remains unclear, but the principle remains. Sleep in the wild isn't about shutting off. It's about adjusting to risk, maintaining awareness, and surviving the night. Back on land, even crocodiles, distant cousins of birds, have been observed with one eye open during rest, particularly in the presence of humans or other animals. In controlled studies, crocodiles resting in enclosures would close one eye and keep the other open when a researcher entered the room. When the human left, the open eye would slowly close. Again, it's difficult to say whether this is truly tied to brain hemisphere activity, but it's compelling. It suggests that the behavior of one-eyed vigilance might not be isolated to a few smart species. It could be a deeply rooted defense mechanism inherited through millions of years of evolution. And if that's true, it forces us to broaden our view of intelligence itself. We've long equated complexity with size, bigger brains, more cortical folds, greater awareness. But in reality, awareness can take many forms. A lizard scanning its surroundings with one eye while half its brain sleeps may not write poetry or invent tools, but it is doing something profoundly efficient, something that takes coordination, memory, and rapid reaction time. It's being smart in a way that matters, staying alive. The beauty of all this is that it turns even the smallest, most overlooked animals into sleep scientists in their own right. They don't have textbooks or theories, but through generations of trial and error, their biology has arrived at answers we're only just beginning to understand. They've solved the riddle of sleep, not by giving it up, but by making it work in ways we never imagined possible. So the next time you see a lizard basking in the sun with one eye open, or a crocodile appearing to doze while staring back at you, ask yourself, is it asleep, or is it watching? Or maybe, just maybe, it's doing both. When you think about dolphins, chances are you picture a sleek, playful animal gliding through the ocean, leaping through waves, clicking and squeaking in that signature alien language of theirs. But beneath all that beauty and charisma lies one of nature's most astonishing sleep adaptations. A neurological balancing act so refined, so necessary to survival, that it turns everything we thought we knew about rest upside down. Dolphins are voluntary breathers. Unlike humans, who breathe automatically even in deep sleep, dolphins must consciously come to the surface to inhale. This simple fact transforms sleep from a passive act into a dangerous gamble. If a dolphin were to fully fall asleep the way we do, both hemispheres shutting down, both eyes closed, it would lose control over its breathing. Within minutes, it would drown. And yet, dolphins sleep. They have to. Their brains, like all mammalian brains, require downtime to repair, consolidate memories, and maintain neural function. So how do they do it? They sleep with one half of their brain at a time. In laboratory studies and ocean research stations, neuroscientists have placed EEG sensors on dolphins to monitor electrical activity in their brains during rest. The results are remarkable. One hemisphere enters slow-wave sleep, characterized by low-frequency, high-amplitude brain waves, the kind associated with deep, restorative rest. Meanwhile, the other hemisphere remains in a wake-like state, with faster, more irregular brain waves, capable of responding to environmental stimuli. The physical signs of this are just as striking. The eye opposite the sleeping hemisphere stays closed, while the other eye, linked to the still awake side of the brain, remains open, scanning the surroundings. This isn't just some passive reflex. The dolphin remains capable of movement, capable of detecting predators, communicating with its pod, and, most importantly, surfacing for air at regular intervals. It swims in slow, deliberate circles, often repeating the same pattern for hours. It's not random. The direction usually corresponds with which hemisphere is awake. If the left side of the brain is sleeping, the dolphin will circle to the right, using the right eye to stay alert. Then, after a period of time, the two hemispheres switch roles. The right brain goes offline, the left takes over, and the dolphin quietly changes direction. This silent back and forth continues for much of the night, like a tide rising and falling inside the skull. And it's not just sleep for sleep's sake. These animals are still functioning. In the wild, mothers and calves often synchronize their half-sleep so they can stay close while resting. Calves are particularly vulnerable. They need to surface more frequently than adults and are at higher risk from predators. For the first month of a calf's life, the mother stays in a near constant state of unihemispheric sleep, never fully switching off, guiding and protecting her young around the clock. It's a level of maternal vigilance that would be impossible without this brain adaptation. Even more astonishing is that dolphins can go for weeks without entering full brain sleep. In a study conducted by the US Navy Marine Mammal Program, bottlenose dolphins were kept in controlled conditions and monitored 24 hours a day. Researchers found that the dolphins maintained high performance on echolocation tasks for 15 consecutive days, all while only allowing half their brain to rest at a time. No drop in accuracy, no degradation of response time, just a perfectly functioning animal living on half a brain, switching hemispheres like clockwork. This is not sleep as we know it. It's not unconsciousness. It's not dreaming. It's something else, a kind of strategic partial withdrawal from the world, a controlled descent into restoration, where one half of the mind holds the line while the other retreats. And yet, even within this rigid pattern, there are moments of softness. Dolphins do occasionally enter short periods of full brain sleep, but only in extremely safe conditions. In captivity, when predators aren't a concern and their environment is controlled, dolphins have been observed lying motionless on the water's surface, both eyes closed, both hemispheres synchronized in slow-wave sleep. But these periods are rare and brief. In the wild, the risks are too great. So they return to their dance, always circling, always switching sides, never fully surrendering to sleep. What's particularly compelling is that this adaptation isn't just about survival. It may also support cognitive complexity. Dolphins are among the most intelligent animals on Earth. They have sophisticated social structures, use tools, pass on cultural behaviors, and possibly even have names. Unique whistles that function as identifiers. This level of brain power demands serious maintenance, and yet they've figured out how to keep that machinery running while still getting rest. Their ability to remain partially conscious also means they can continue navigating complex underwater environments while asleep. In shallow waters, they avoid entanglement in corals. In busy pod formations, they maintain group cohesion. All while, half their mind is offline. It's multitasking on a level far beyond what humans are capable of. And the sleep switching isn't random. The duration of unihemispheric sleep in dolphins is tightly regulated. One side never hogs the rest. One hemisphere may be asleep for a certain amount of time, often around 2 hours, and then the other side takes over. This bilateral symmetry ensures that both sides of the brain receive equal recovery, balancing the cognitive workload and keeping the dolphin at peak performance. Interestingly, the switch itself is seamless. There's no lag, no confusion, no period of grogginess, like the kind humans feel when waking up. The dolphin simply reverses its direction, opens the other eye, and continues on as though nothing happened. It's as if its brain was designed not for rest, but for continuity, to support a life that never truly stops. Even more amazing is that this ability doesn't diminish with age. Older dolphins continue the same sleep behavior well into maturity. In fact, some researchers speculate that this might contribute to their longevity. By never fully surrendering to unconsciousness, dolphins reduce the chance of accidents, predation, or oxygen deprivation, dangers that shorten the lives of many other wild animals. There's also a deep poetic irony in all of this. We often think of sleep as the ultimate act of letting go, a daily surrender, a retreat into vulnerability. But dolphins have redefined it. For them, sleep is not vulnerability, it's vigilance, it's strategy, it's a finely tuned compromise between recovery and awareness, driven not by comfort, but by necessity. And perhaps that's why watching a dolphin sleep feels so surreal. It's not the stillness of it, it's the intentionality, the way it keeps moving, the way one eye watches you while the other eye dreams, the way it breathes, rises, exhales, and dips again, all without missing a beat. Sleep for dolphins is not a break from life. It is part of life. It is life lived differently, life divided, life adapted to a world where the surface is never far away and the dangers never rest. In the deep, vast ocean, where everything is moving, everything is hunting, everything is fleeting, even sleep must swim. Seals present another fascinating twist on the story of unihemispheric sleep, blending flexibility and adaptation in a way that highlights just how responsive sleep can be to different environments. Unlike dolphins, which are born to swim their entire lives, seals split their time between land and water, and their sleep patterns reflect this dual lifestyle in remarkable ways. On land, seals often rest in ways that look much more familiar to us. They lie still, with both eyes closed, sinking into what appears to be a full, bilateral sleep. Here, the risk of drowning doesn't exist, and predators are less of an immediate threat, so the seals can afford to let their guard down completely. Their brainwaves during these rest periods resemble those of other mammals, with synchronized slow-wave sleep showing that both hemispheres are deeply resting. But the moment a seal slips into the water, everything changes. Water is a risky place. Predators lurk, and the seal must constantly be aware of its surroundings to avoid danger. Plus, like dolphins, seals are voluntary breathers, meaning they can't afford to lose control over their breathing. They need to come up for air regularly, even while resting. In the water, seals switch their sleep strategy dramatically. Instead of deep bilateral sleep, they engage in unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, just like dolphins. One half of their brain shuts down to rest, while the other half remains alert. This alert half controls the eye on the opposite side of the body, which stays open and vigilant. The open eye scans the environment for threats, navigational cues, and other seals, while the resting hemisphere allows the animal to recover vital brain functions. This ability to toggle between full brain sleep on land and half brain sleep in the water is not just a curious quirk. It's an adaptive survival tool that reflects a profound plasticity in the seal's brain. Their neural systems can switch gears depending on context, which allows them to meet very different challenges in different environments. Studies using EEGs on captive seals have shown that this switch is accompanied by changes not just in brain activity, but in heart rate and breathing patterns as well. When a seal is resting on land, its breathing slows and becomes more regular, consistent with deep sleep. But in the water, breathing becomes more intermittent and tied to surfacing behavior. The seal holds its breath for extended periods during the resting phases of one hemisphere, then surfaces to take a quick breath during the alert phase. It's a finely tuned coordination of physiology and brain activity. The timing of these sleep cycles is also intriguing. Seals can maintain unihemispheric sleep in the water for prolonged periods, sometimes for hours, cycling between hemispheres every 30 to 60 minutes. This means they can maintain vigilance and keep breathing control for long stretches while still getting restorative rest. It's a delicate balance, and one that clearly works. Seals are incredibly successful marine predators with no shortage of stamina or alertness. This flexibility in sleep modes also has implications for understanding the evolution of sleep. Seals, as marine mammals, evolved from land-dwelling ancestors. The ability to switch between bilateral sleep on land and unihemispheric sleep in the water suggests an evolutionary transition, showing how existing biological systems can be retooled to meet new ecological demands. It's a living example of how behavior and physiology co-evolve. There's also a social dimension to consider. Seals are often found resting in groups, both on beaches and in the water. On land, the collective presence of other seals offers safety in numbers, allowing individuals to relax into deeper sleep. In the water, the half-brain sleep mode means that even if one seal is half asleep, it can still respond quickly to calls or movements from others in the group. This coordinated vigilance supports the whole community's survival, highlighting that sleep strategies are intertwined with social behavior and environmental pressures. Interestingly, researchers have found that seals don't just switch hemispheres randomly. The sleeping hemisphere alternates in a fairly predictable cycle, ensuring that both sides of the brain get roughly equal rest. This bilateral balance likely preserves cognitive function and prevents the kinds of deficits we see in humans after sleep deprivation. It's as if the seal's brain keeps a mental ledger, making sure neither side is overworked or under-rested. On a practical level, this means seals avoid the pitfalls of full unconsciousness in risky environments without sacrificing the restorative benefits of sleep. Their bodies have found a way to have it both ways, rest deeply enough to maintain health and function, but stay alert enough to survive. What's more, observations of wild seals have confirmed these lab findings. When hauled out on rocky shores or ice floes, seals frequently sleep with both eyes closed and show deep rest patterns. But in the water, they adopt a more vigilant posture, with one eye open and subtle swimming motions maintaining buoyancy and orientation. This dual sleep strategy challenges our human-centric ideas about rest. For us, sleep means surrendering control, shutting off awareness, and giving our minds over to dreams or unconsciousness. For seals, it's a dynamic dance, a constant negotiation between rest and responsiveness, between vulnerability and survival. Their brains show us that sleep is not a fixed state, but a spectrum of possibilities, shaped by environment, necessity, and evolutionary history. Seals don't just sleep to recover, they sleep to endure, to thrive, and to keep living on terms set by the wild. In watching a seal drift in water with one eye open, calmly paddling, breathing consciously, and yet clearly resting, we glimpse a new understanding of sleep, one that's both alien and deeply connected to the natural rhythms of life on Earth. It's a reminder that in the animal kingdom, rest is never simple. It's survival, adaptation, and resilience all rolled into one. Owls, the enigmatic rulers of the night, have long captured human imagination with their silent flight, piercing eyes, and mysterious calls echoing through dark forests. But beyond their haunting allure lies another fascinating aspect of their biology: the way they sleep. Unlike dolphins or seals, owls don't live in water and don't face the risk of drowning, so their sleep habits are shaped by a different set of pressures. Yet they, too, demonstrate remarkable adaptations that blur the line between sleep and wakefulness. Owls are primarily nocturnal hunters, relying on acute vision and hearing to locate prey under the cover of darkness. Their survival depends on remaining alert, even in the quiet moments between hunts. Predators, competitors, and environmental dangers never fully vanish at night, so owls must balance the need to rest with the necessity of vigilance. Scientists studying owl sleep have discovered that while owls generally engage in bilateral sleep, both eyes closed, both hemispheres resting, they often show signs of unilateral or asymmetric sleep under certain conditions. Unlike marine mammals, this isn't because they need to come up for air or keep swimming. Instead, it appears to be a strategic response to their environment. In the wild, an owl's roosting site might be a tree hollow, a dense cluster of branches, or a rocky crevice, places that provide shelter but also hide them from prey and potential threats. Yet even here, the owl's environment is not perfectly safe. Small mammals or other birds might approach, and larger predators lurk in the shadows. As a result, the owl sometimes maintains a degree of vigilance during rest by keeping one hemisphere of its brain more alert than the other. What does this look like? Behavioral observations show that owls sometimes rest with one eye open, the pupil dilated and scanning slowly. The open eye corresponds to the hemisphere of the brain that remains awake, monitoring the surroundings for movement, sounds, or changes in light. Meanwhile, the other eye remains closed, linked to the sleeping hemisphere. This half-awake state allows the owl to catch subtle cues: the snap of a twig, the faint rustle of a mouse in the underbrush, that would otherwise be missed during full sleep. It's a delicate balancing act between restorative rest and readiness to react. Electrophysiological studies, though more limited in owls compared to dolphins or seals, provide supporting evidence. Recordings of brain activity reveal periods where one hemisphere exhibits the slow-wave patterns typical of deep sleep, while the other displays faster, wake-like activity. This unihemispheric or asymmetric sleep may not be as pronounced or sustained as in aquatic mammals, but it's a clear example of how sleep can be modulated in response to ecological demands. Owls also have to cope with changes in ambient light, dusk, dawn, moon phases, which influence their sleep and activity cycles. During full moon nights, for instance, their hunting success often improves due to better visibility, but so does their risk of being spotted by larger predators or rival birds. To navigate this, they might adopt lighter sleep patterns, increasing the time spent in asymmetric sleep or lighter stages of rest. This flexibility illustrates a broader principle. Sleep is not a rigid state but a fluid process, adaptable to an animal's environment and needs. For owls, the ability to modulate sleep depth and vigilance ensures they can seize opportunities to hunt while minimizing the risk of surprise attacks. Interestingly, the structure of the owl's brain also supports this ability. Owls possess large optic lobes and well-developed auditory centers, both heavily involved in processing sensory information critical to hunting and survival. The neural architecture may facilitate the localized maintenance of wakefulness in one hemisphere, enabling sensory vigilance while allowing the other side to rest. There's also a fascinating connection between sleep and the owl's famed silent flight. To achieve near-soundless movement, owls have specialized feathers and musculature, but maintaining muscle tone and coordination during sleep requires precise neurological control. Unihemispheric sleep may help preserve this motor control, preventing full paralysis that occurs during REM sleep in other animals, and allowing for a quicker response to threats or prey. In captivity, where owls are safe from predators and have regular food, they often sleep more deeply and symmetrically, closing both eyes for longer periods. This contrast highlights how the demands of the natural environment shape sleep behavior. Studying owls challenges us to rethink human sleep through the lens of evolutionary adaptation. Unlike the unidimensional idea of sleep as a simple downtime, owl sleep shows us a spectrum where rest and alertness blend seamlessly, shaped by millions of years of survival pressures. It's a reminder that sleep, at its core, is not just about shutting down, but about tuning in to the environment, to potential danger, to opportunity. For the owl, resting with one eye open is a vital survival skill, a nightly negotiation between vulnerability and vigilance. Next time you glimpse an owl perched silently in the twilight, remember that behind those steady eyes lies a brain finely attuned to the delicate art of sleeping while staying awake, a marvel of nature's ingenuity. Sharks, often cast as the quintessential predators of the ocean, embody an entirely different approach to sleep, or rather, a unique kind of rest that challenges our traditional ideas about what sleep looks like in the animal kingdom. Unlike mammals such as dolphins and seals, sharks have no lungs and rely on a different system to breathe, which in turn shapes their rest patterns in fascinating ways. Most shark species must keep moving constantly to ensure a steady flow of oxygen-rich water over their gills, a process called ram ventilation. This means that for many sharks, the very act of swimming is tied directly to breathing. Stop moving, and they risk suffocating. This relentless need to swim complicates the idea of sleep. How do these formidable creatures rest when they can't simply lie still and close their eyes like land animals? Scientific research on shark sleep is less extensive than that of marine mammals, but what has been observed points to a form of rest that is both subtle and specialized. Sharks do enter states of reduced activity, lowered responsiveness, and rest-like brain activity. But these states differ significantly from the deep, unconscious sleep humans experience. Some species, like the nurse shark, can actively pump water over their gills while resting on the ocean floor, allowing them to stay stationary while breathing. This suggests that these sharks can afford to enter deeper rest states, more akin to traditional sleep. However, the majority of open water sharks rely on continuous movement, so their rest must be adapted to constant activity. In these cruising sharks, researchers have noted behaviors that resemble sleep swimming. Slow, steady swimming with reduced responsiveness to stimuli. It's as if the shark is partially disengaged, conserving energy while still moving through the water. This likely involves periods of lowered neural activity, though not a complete shutdown of brain function. Because sharks lack a neocortex, the brain region associated with complex processing and deep sleep in mammals, their rest mechanisms are simpler but no less effective. Their brains rely on more primitive structures to regulate sleep-like states, and their sleep may be more fragmented and lighter, with frequent short rest episodes rather than extended sleep cycles. One of the most intriguing aspects of shark rest is the apparent absence of REM sleep, the phase characterized by dreaming and muscle atonia in mammals. Instead, sharks seem to rely on slow wave-like brain activity, interspersed with wakefulness, maintaining a balance between rest and readiness that fits their ecological niche as predators. This light, continuous kind of rest may be an adaptation to their need for constant environmental awareness. Sharks live in a world filled with threats, from larger predators to human interference, and opportunities, such as detecting prey scents or navigating complex underwater landscapes. A fully unconscious sleep could be deadly. Their eyes remain open during these rest phases, with a protective membrane called the nictitating membrane sliding across to shield and moisten the eye without blocking vision. This allows sharks to maintain visual input even while partially resting. Much like some birds and marine mammals keep one eye open to watch for danger. The necessity of continuous swimming also influences shark social behavior. Many species are solitary hunters, but some form loose aggregations or follow migratory routes together. Even in these group settings, sharks' rest patterns seem individualized, with no synchronized sleep cycles. Each shark balances activity and rest according to its own needs and environmental context. Scientists studying captive sharks have observed that their activity levels drop during certain periods, often corresponding to natural day-night cycles. These rest phases feature slower, more deliberate swimming and reduced responsiveness, resembling a drowsy state. However, if disturbed, sharks can immediately ramp up activity, showcasing a high degree of alertness even while resting. This ability to modulate vigilance without fully shutting down is another example of how evolution shapes rest according to survival demands. Sharks are master predators, needing to stay alert to catch agile prey, avoid threats, and navigate vast ocean expanses. Their rest reflects a fine balance between conservation and readiness. From a broader perspective, studying shark sleep challenges our anthropocentric view of rest as a binary state, either awake or asleep. In sharks, rest is a continuum, a blend of activity and inactivity, responsiveness and disengagement. It's an elegant solution to the demands of life underwater, where stopping is not an option, and survival depends on constant motion. This also invites us to reconsider the meaning of sleep itself. If a shark can rest with its eyes open, swimming slowly through the dark depths, does that count as sleep? Or is sleep better understood as any physiological state that allows the brain and body to recover? In the shark's world, rest and wakefulness flow seamlessly together, redefining the boundaries of what sleep can be. In the end, the shark's way of resting reveals a truth about life in the ocean. It's a realm where adaptation is everything, where even the most fundamental processes like sleep are shaped by the relentless push and pull of environment, physiology, and survival. Watching a shark glide steadily through the water, seemingly tireless, eyes wide, always alert, we glimpse a creature that rests not by stopping, but by moving through its world in a state of perpetual, delicate balance. Birds, with their incredible diversity and adaptability, showcase some of the most fascinating sleep strategies in the animal kingdom. Among these strategies, unihemispheric slow-wave sleep stands out as a remarkable adaptation that allows many bird species to rest while still maintaining a high level of environmental awareness and responsiveness. This unique form of sleep is not just a curiosity. It's a vital survival tool shaped by millions of years of evolution and ecological pressures. Unlike mammals, birds have a relatively small neocortex, but a highly developed forebrain region called the hyperpallium, which manages complex behaviors, including learning, memory, and sensory processing. Their brains are wired in ways that allow them to toggle between deep rest and vigilance, sometimes in different halves of the brain simultaneously. In many bird species, especially those that roost in exposed or vulnerable locations, unihemispheric slow-wave sleep allows one hemisphere of the brain to rest deeply while the other remains awake and alert. The awake hemisphere controls the opposite eye, which stays open and watches for potential threats. This means a bird can literally sleep with one eye open, scanning its environment for predators or other dangers, even while part of its brain is enjoying restorative rest. Seabirds, such as ducks, gulls, and albatrosses, often display this behavior. When resting in flocks on the water or on exposed shorelines, they will close one eye and rest one side of their brain at a time, a strategy that balances the need for sleep with the need for constant vigilance. It's a communal defense mechanism. By having some birds more alert while others rest, the flock increases its overall safety. Unihemispheric sleep also plays a crucial role during long migratory flights, when birds need to maintain prolonged wakefulness while still obtaining some rest. Research on frigate birds, for example, has shown that they engage in short bouts of unihemispheric sleep while soaring over the ocean for hours or even days. During these periods, one hemisphere rests while the other stays awake to control flight and monitor the environment, enabling the birds to navigate vast distances without stopping. The physiology behind this phenomenon involves slow wave activity, a hallmark of deep sleep, occurring in only one hemisphere at a time. EEG recordings reveal a fascinating pattern. The sleeping hemisphere shows synchronized, slow brain waves associated with rest and restoration, while the awake hemisphere exhibits faster, desynchronized activity, indicative of alertness and sensory processing. This alternating pattern helps maintain balance and ensures that neither hemisphere is overworked or deprived of sleep. Birds typically switch which hemisphere is resting every few minutes to hours, depending on their environment and level of threat. The benefits of this adaptation are clear. By allowing partial sleep, birds reduce their vulnerability to predation, especially in open habitats where hiding places are scarce. It also allows them to monitor social signals from flock mates, stay oriented within their environment, and maintain basic motor control necessary for balance and posture. Interestingly, some birds also show evidence of more subtle sleep asymmetries, even when roosting in safer environments. This suggests that unihemispheric sleep may be a default mode of rest for many birds, fine-tuned by ecological context, rather than a behavior strictly limited to high-risk situations. Beyond safety, unihemispheric sleep might have cognitive advantages. By resting one hemisphere at a time, birds may protect essential cognitive functions and memory consolidation while still staying responsive. This could be especially important for species that rely heavily on spatial memory and environmental cues, such as food-caching corvids or long-distance migrators. Research into this area has also uncovered interesting variations across species. For instance, pigeons show unihemispheric sleep during resting periods, but engage in more bilateral sleep when in secure conditions. On the other hand, species like the mallard duck exhibit prolonged unihemispheric sleep while floating on water, highlighting how habitat and lifestyle shape sleep patterns. The capacity for unihemispheric sleep is so deeply ingrained that it likely arose early in avian evolution and may be shared broadly among modern birds. It's also seen in some reptiles and marine mammals, hinting at convergent evolution, different lineages independently developing similar sleep strategies to solve similar survival problems. From a broader perspective, studying bird sleep challenges human notions of rest as a uniform, all-or-nothing state. In birds, sleep is flexible, dynamic, and responsive to the environment, blending rest with vigilance in a way that maximizes survival without compromising cognitive function. Next time you see a bird perched quietly at dusk with one eye half open, remember that it's not just napping. It's performing a delicate neurological feat, keeping watch over its world while still allowing part of its brain to rejuvenate. This remarkable balance between rest and awareness is a testament to nature's ingenuity, showing us that sleep can be as much about staying alive as it is about dreaming. Elephants, those majestic giants of the animal kingdom, exhibit some of the most intriguing and surprising sleep behaviors observed among mammals. Despite their enormous size and seemingly slow, lumbering movements, elephants have sleep patterns that defy many common assumptions about rest. Understanding how elephants sleep, especially in relation to the phenomenon of unihemispheric sleep, reveals a fascinating story of adaptation, survival, and the demands of life in the wild. Unlike marine mammals, elephants don't have to worry about drowning or breathing while submerged, but their sleep is nevertheless shaped by ecological pressures, social complexity, and the physical challenges posed by their massive bodies. Elephants live in environments where predation risk, food availability, social interaction, and movement all play significant roles in shaping behavior, and sleep is no exception. One of the most remarkable facts about elephants is how little they actually sleep. Studies conducted with wild African elephants have found that these animals typically sleep only around 2 to 4 hours per day, much less than most other mammals of comparable size. What's more, elephants often sleep standing up, although they sometimes lie down for deeper sleep. This pattern of relatively short and sometimes fragmented sleep raises the question: how do elephants manage to stay healthy and alert with so little rest? Research suggests that elephants have evolved a highly efficient and flexible sleep strategy that allows them to meet their physiological needs while maximizing their survival. Unlike many species that require prolonged, uninterrupted sleep, elephants may benefit from shorter, lighter rest phases scattered throughout the day and night. This scattered sleep pattern may also include episodes resembling unihemispheric sleep, where one half of the brain rests while the other remains awake. Unihemispheric sleep has been definitively observed in many aquatic mammals and birds, but evidence in elephants is less direct. However, the demands of constant movement, vigilance against predators, and complex social behaviors hint that elephants might engage in forms of asymmetric sleep. By allowing one hemisphere of their brain to remain alert while the other rests, elephants could stay watchful for threats or social cues without sacrificing all their sleep time. In the wild, elephants face numerous challenges. Predators like lions and hyenas, though rarely successful against adult elephants, do prey on calves, making vigilance critical for herd safety. Elephants also have large home ranges and spend much of their time traveling to find food and water, often moving over long distances daily. These activities require alertness and mobility, which conflict with long periods of deep, unconscious sleep. Standing sleep is an adaptation that reflects these pressures. By sleeping while standing, elephants can rest quickly and awaken instantly if threatened. Their massive legs and unique muscular structure enable them to lock joints and maintain balance without much effort, allowing them to remain upright even in sleep. When they do lie down, it's often in safe areas, sometimes for deeper REM sleep, which has been recorded in elephants, but comprises a smaller portion of their total sleep time compared to other mammals. Interestingly, observations of captive elephants show they tend to sleep more and lie down more frequently than their wild counterparts. This suggests that environmental safety and reduced travel demands influence sleep duration and posture. In the wild, the need to stay alert and mobile likely limits the length and depth of elephant sleep. From a neurological perspective, elephants possess large brains with a well-developed neocortex, supporting advanced cognitive functions, memory, and social complexity. This brain capacity may underpin their flexible sleep strategies, allowing them to recover cognitively during shorter sleep episodes and possibly engage in asymmetric brain activity to remain semi-alert while resting. Elephants are highly social animals with complex relationships within their herds. Sleep and rest must be coordinated to maintain group cohesion and safety. For example, when one individual sleeps, others may remain awake or keep watch, creating a collective defense system. Such social sleeping patterns may complement individual sleep adaptations, like unihemispheric rest. This intricate interplay of physiology, ecology, and social behavior means that elephant sleep is not a simple, uniform process, but a dynamic, context-dependent phenomenon. The ability to adjust sleep depth, duration, and brain hemisphere activity likely enhances their survival in unpredictable environments. Studying elephant sleep also broadens our understanding of sleep's essential functions. Despite limited total sleep time, elephants maintain physical health, cognitive abilities, and complex social behaviors, suggesting that sleep quality, efficiency, and flexibility can be as important as quantity. This challenges human assumptions that more sleep is always better and opens new avenues for exploring how different species solve the problem of balancing rest with survival. In the grand tapestry of nature, the elephant's sleep behavior is a testament to evolutionary innovation. It reveals that even the largest, most seemingly slow creatures have found ways to navigate the delicate balance between vulnerability and rest, awareness and rejuvenation. Their sleep is a quiet, powerful strategy, one that supports their enduring presence as giants of the wild. Next time you picture an elephant slowly moving across the savannah or resting beneath a tree, consider the remarkable ways it manages sleep, standing guard with part of its brain alert, lying down only when it feels truly safe, and making the most of every moment of rest. It's a profound reminder that sleep, like life itself, is shaped by the demands and rhythms of the world around us. Frogs, those small yet fascinating amphibians, exhibit sleep behaviors that are as diverse and intriguing as the environments they inhabit. Unlike mammals and birds, frogs have a very different neurological setup, and their sleep patterns reflect a blend of evolutionary adaptations tailored to their unique lifestyle between land and water. Exploring how frogs rest and whether they display forms of unihemispheric sleep reveals surprising insights into the wide variety of sleep strategies in nature. Frogs are ectothermic animals, meaning their body temperature depends on the surrounding environment. This characteristic significantly influences their activity patterns and rest. In colder or drier conditions, many frog species enter states of torpor or hibernation, dramatically reducing metabolic activity to conserve energy. But even outside these extreme states, frogs have distinct daily cycles of activity and rest, often tied to environmental cues like light, temperature, and humidity. Unlike mammals, frogs do not exhibit REM sleep as defined by rapid eye movements or muscle atonia. Instead, their sleep is characterized by periods of behavioral inactivity and reduced responsiveness, sometimes referred to as quiet sleep. During these times, frogs may remain motionless with eyes closed or partially closed, yet they remain sensitive to environmental stimuli. This sensitivity is crucial for survival, as frogs are preyed upon by many animals, from birds to snakes to fish. Interestingly, frogs do sometimes display behaviors that suggest partial sleep states similar in function to unihemispheric sleep, although the neurological evidence is less direct. Since many frogs spend part of their lives in aquatic environments and part on land, the ability to rest while maintaining some level of awareness is beneficial. For example, aquatic frogs can remain still in water with minimal movement, reducing their energy expenditure while keeping an ear and eye out for predators or changes in water conditions. During rest, some frogs keep one eye open while the other remains closed. This asymmetry in eye closure may indicate that one hemisphere of the brain is more alert, monitoring for threats, while the other is resting. This behavior parallels the unihemispheric sleep observed in birds and marine mammals, though in frogs, it is less well studied and may not involve the same distinct brainwave patterns. The anatomy of frogs supports this capability. Their brains are relatively simple compared to mammals, but have well-developed sensory and motor areas that allow them to respond quickly to stimuli. This rapid responsiveness is essential for escape behaviors, like jumping or diving, which are key survival strategies. The balance between rest and alertness must therefore be finely tuned to allow recovery without compromising safety. Environmental factors also shape frog sleep behaviors. Many frogs are nocturnal, active during the night, and resting during the day. Their resting sites often provide camouflage and shelter, such as under leaves, in crevices, or submerged in water. The ability to rest partially while still sensing the surroundings helps them avoid predators that may be active during daylight or twilight hours. Temperature and humidity fluctuations can trigger changes in rest patterns. During dry or cold periods, some frogs enter estivation, a prolonged state of dormancy that conserves moisture and energy. In these states, neural activity slows dramatically, and the animal becomes almost unresponsive. However, even during estivation, frogs may intermittently become alert to environmental changes, suggesting a flexible sleep-wake cycle adapted to survival needs. Some species exhibit fascinating behaviors like calling or movement during rest phases, indicating that sleep in frogs is not a static state, but a dynamic process. These activities may serve social functions like mating calls or territorial displays that require intermittent alertness even during resting periods. Comparative studies across amphibians show considerable variation in sleep and rest patterns. While some species are more vulnerable and therefore may rely heavily on partial sleep and vigilance, others in safer habitats may afford deeper and longer rest. This diversity highlights how sleep is shaped not just by physiology, but by ecological context. Studying frog sleep expands our understanding of the evolutionary continuum of rest. Frogs occupy a crucial position in vertebrate history, bridging aquatic and terrestrial life, and their sleep strategies reflect this dual existence. By examining their rest, scientists gain insight into how sleep mechanisms evolved and diversified across species. Moreover, frogs offer a unique window into how simpler brains manage the complex trade-offs between rest and survival. Their partial sleep states, eye closure patterns, and environmental responsiveness demonstrate that sleep is not a uniform or universal phenomenon, but a spectrum of behaviors finely tuned to an animal's niche. Next time you hear the haunting croak of a frog at night, or spot one resting silently near a pond, remember that beneath its small, seemingly simple exterior lies a sophisticated balance between vigilance and rest, a delicate dance shaped by evolution to keep it alive and thriving in a world full of dangers. Dolphins are among the most intelligent and fascinating creatures in the ocean, and their sleep habits reflect a remarkable adaptation to life in a constantly moving, often dangerous environment. Unlike humans who experience consolidated periods of deep, uninterrupted sleep, dolphins have evolved a unique way of resting that allows them to remain conscious enough to breathe, navigate, and avoid predators. This is where the concept of unihemispheric slow-wave sleep comes into play, a remarkable biological trick that lets dolphins literally sleep with one half of their brain at a time. Because dolphins are mammals and need to breathe air, they cannot afford to become fully unconscious for long periods. They must surface regularly to breathe, even while sleeping. This necessity would seem to conflict with the need for rest and brain recovery, yet dolphins have evolved a solution that allows them to meet both demands simultaneously. When a dolphin enters unihemispheric sleep, one cerebral hemisphere exhibits slow-wave sleep, a deep, restorative state, while the other hemisphere remains awake and alert. This half-awake state enables the dolphin to continue controlling its breathing and monitoring its environment for threats or obstacles. The eye opposite the sleeping hemisphere remains open, scanning the surroundings, while the eye on the sleeping side is closed. This striking behavior explains the popular phrase, sleeping with one eye open, in a very literal sense. Studies using EEG recordings have confirmed that during unihemispheric sleep, the sleeping hemisphere shows brainwave patterns characteristic of slow-wave sleep, similar to what humans experience during deep non-REM sleep. Meanwhile, the awake hemisphere maintains higher frequency brain activity, allowing the dolphin to stay alert and responsive. This ability is not just a curiosity, but a crucial survival mechanism. The oceans can be perilous, with predators lurking, waves to navigate, and the constant need to surface for air. Unihemispheric sleep allows dolphins to rest while maintaining enough awareness to protect themselves and remain mobile. Even while one half of their brain is resting, they often swim slowly, occasionally surfacing for breaths, demonstrating the incredible coordination of this sleep state. Interestingly, dolphins don't just sleep unihemispherically, but also engage in brief periods of bilateral sleep, where both hemispheres rest simultaneously. These periods are usually shorter and occur when the animal is in safer conditions, such as in captivity or calm waters. However, in the wild, extended bilateral sleep would increase vulnerability, so unihemispheric sleep dominates their rest strategy. This split-brain sleep pattern influences dolphin social behavior as well. Dolphins are highly social and often sleep in groups, with individuals alternating sleep times to ensure that at least one member of the pod is awake to watch for danger. This collective vigilance, combined with individual unihemispheric sleep, forms a complex system of rest and safety that supports the group's survival. The physical demands of constant swimming also shape dolphins' sleep. Unlike some sharks that can pump water over their gills while resting, dolphins must actively swim to maintain movement and keep water flowing over their blowholes. Unihemispheric sleep allows for slow, controlled swimming during rest phases, conserving energy while ensuring vital functions continue uninterrupted. Research has shown that dolphins may sleep in cycles lasting several minutes per hemisphere before switching sides. This switching balances rest and alertness across the brain, preventing one side from becoming overly fatigued. The frequency and duration of these cycles vary depending on the individual's age, environment, and activity level. Dolphins' sleep patterns also reveal the intricate connection between brain structure and function. Their large brains, especially the cerebral cortex and limbic system, support complex cognition, communication, and emotional regulation. Unihemispheric sleep allows dolphins to recover neural resources while staying engaged with their social and physical environment, showcasing an elegant compromise between rest and wakefulness. Moreover, this sleep strategy challenges our traditional views of consciousness and rest. Dolphins demonstrate that sleep is not a binary state, but can be highly flexible, allowing partial disengagement from the environment without complete loss of awareness. This nuanced understanding enriches our appreciation of animal intelligence and adaptation. Beyond their survival needs, dolphins' sleep behaviors also raise questions about the evolutionary pressures that shaped such remarkable adaptations. The transition from terrestrial to aquatic life likely imposed constraints that made traditional sleep dangerous or impossible, prompting the emergence of unihemispheric sleep as an innovative solution. Studying dolphin sleep not only deepens our knowledge of marine biology, but also informs broader questions about the nature of sleep, brain function, and consciousness across species. It highlights the incredible diversity of life and the myriad ways evolution has crafted solutions to the universal need for rest. Next time you imagine a dolphin gliding effortlessly through ocean waves, remember that beneath the surface lies a brain that is half asleep and half awake, a living testament to nature's ingenuity, perfectly tuned to the demands of a watery world. Seals, those remarkable marine mammals, have long fascinated scientists and wildlife enthusiasts alike, especially when it comes to their sleep behaviors. Living in a world that spans both land and sea, seals face unique challenges that have shaped how they rest and recover. Unlike terrestrial mammals, seals must balance the need for deep, restorative sleep with the demands of their aquatic environment, where dangers lurk both above and below the water's surface. Their sleep strategies reveal a remarkable adaptation that allows them to survive and thrive in such dynamic conditions. One of the most intriguing aspects of seal sleep is their ability to engage in unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, much like dolphins and some species of birds. This means they can let one half of their brain rest deeply while the other half remains alert and awake. Such an adaptation is especially useful because seals must come to the surface regularly to breathe, even while resting. This need to consciously breathe, combined with the ever-present risk of predators like sharks and killer whales, has made fully unconscious sleep dangerous in the open ocean. When a seal enters unihemispheric sleep, The brain hemisphere on the resting side exhibits slow wave sleep, characterized by synchronized neural activity, while the awake hemisphere shows faster brain waves associated with alertness. Correspondingly, the eye opposite the sleeping hemisphere remains open, scanning the environment, while the other eye stays closed. This eye-brain coordination is a vivid example of nature's cleverness in balancing rest and vigilance. Seals often utilize this form of sleep when floating at the water's surface or swimming slowly. In these moments, they maintain just enough awareness to control breathing, stay oriented, and react to potential threats, all while still allowing half their brain to recuperate. This ability to sleep with one eye open and half their brain awake is critical for their survival, especially during long periods spent in the ocean where safe resting spots are scarce. On land, seals' sleep patterns change somewhat. When hauled out on beaches or ice floes, they may be able to afford deeper bilateral sleep, where both hemispheres rest simultaneously. However, even in these more secure settings, they remain cautious, often sleeping in groups that provide collective vigilance. Some seals will even take turns keeping watch, allowing others to rest more deeply. The physiology underlying these sleep behaviors is linked to the seals' large brains and complex nervous systems. Their brain structure supports advanced sensory processing and motor control, enabling them to transition smoothly between wakefulness and rest in ways that protect their health and safety. This balance is not static. Seals can adjust their sleep mode based on environmental conditions, predator presence, and social context. Seals also show interesting variations in sleep duration and posture depending on species and habitat. For instance, elephant seals, which spend months at sea fasting during breeding seasons, may sleep less overall, but make up for it with intense sleep bouts when resting ashore. Harbour seals, on the other hand, may engage in shorter, more frequent naps that fit within their foraging schedules. Behavioral observations reveal that seals can sleep while lying on land, floating on water, or even swimming slowly, often with subtle movements that help maintain buoyancy and balance. This versatility is part of what makes their sleep so unique among mammals. It also underscores the importance of unihemispheric sleep as a flexible tool rather than a fixed necessity. From an evolutionary perspective, unihemispheric sleep in seals is thought to have developed in response to the challenges of a semi-aquatic lifestyle. Their ancestors likely needed to adapt from a terrestrial mode of sleep to one that accommodates extended time in water without losing the restorative benefits of rest. This adaptation is shared with other marine mammals, highlighting a remarkable case of convergent evolution where different species independently evolved similar solutions to environmental pressures. Research into seal sleep also offers broader insights into the fundamental functions of sleep. Despite sleeping in shorter bursts and with one hemisphere at a time, seals maintain their cognitive abilities, immune function, and physical health, suggesting that quality and efficiency of sleep can compensate for quantity. This challenges traditional ideas about how much sleep is enough and invites us to reconsider the diversity of rest strategies across the animal kingdom. Moreover, understanding seal sleep helps conservationists protect these animals better, as human activities increasingly impact their habitats and behaviors. Disruptions to their rest can affect their health, reproduction, and survival, making knowledge of their sleep ecology vital for effective management. Next time you see a seal resting peacefully on a rocky shore, or gliding gently through ocean waves, remember the extraordinary balance it maintains, part asleep, part awake. A living example of how nature solves the complex problem of rest in a risky world. This split-brain sleep not only keeps seals alive, but also connects them to a fascinating spectrum of sleep adaptations found throughout the animal kingdom, reminding us of the incredible diversity and ingenuity life has evolved. Owls are often seen as mysterious creatures of the night, silently gliding through forests and fields with remarkable precision and stealth. Their nocturnal lifestyle requires exceptional adaptations, not just in vision and hearing, but also in how they rest and sleep. While owls may seem like typical birds when it comes to sleep, they exhibit fascinating behaviors that hint at unique strategies to balance rest with the demands of being nighttime hunters. Understanding how owls sleep and whether they employ unihemispheric sleep like some other birds and aquatic mammals reveals a deeper layer of their survival toolkit. Birds, in general, are known for their ability to engage in unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, where one half of the brain sleeps while the other remains awake and alert. This adaptation allows them to rest while maintaining vigilance, especially in environments where predation risk is high or constant movement is necessary. Owls, as highly specialized nocturnal predators, benefit greatly from this ability. When one hemisphere is resting, the opposite eye stays open, monitoring the environment for threats or prey, even while the bird is partially asleep. The brain structure of owls supports this form of sleep. They have relatively large optic lobes and a well-developed cerebral cortex that process visual and auditory information with great efficiency. This neurological setup enables owls to maintain heightened sensory awareness during unihemispheric sleep, an advantage for detecting subtle movements or sounds in the dark. While one hemisphere enters deep slow-wave sleep, the other remains active, processing sensory inputs and preparing the owl to react instantly if needed. Owls often perch silently during the day, resting and conserving energy for nighttime hunting. During these resting periods, they may exhibit signs of unihemispheric sleep, such as closing one eye and keeping the other open. This behavior helps them remain vigilant to predators and disturbances, even when they are largely inactive. Given their role as both predator and prey in various ecosystems, this ability is vital for their survival. Unlike diurnal birds that may roost in large groups, many owl species are more solitary or territorial, which influences their sleep habits. Without the safety of numbers, individual owls must rely heavily on their own vigilance during rest. Unihemispheric sleep allows them to get the restorative benefits of sleep while still maintaining awareness of their surroundings, reducing vulnerability during their inactive periods. Owls' sleep patterns also vary with species, environment, and season. Some owls may increase sleep duration during colder months or times of scarce food availability, while others maintain more consistent rest cycles. Their nocturnal activity means that most deep sleep occurs during the day, often in concealed locations, such as dense foliage, tree cavities, or rocky crevices. These sheltered sites offer additional protection, allowing more opportunity for bilateral sleep, when both hemispheres rest simultaneously, though unihemispheric sleep remains an important fallback for safety. The interplay between owl sleep and hunting behavior is particularly interesting. Owls rely on acute senses to capture prey silently and efficiently at night, which requires peak mental alertness. Unihemispheric sleep may help them quickly transition from rest to activity, enabling sudden bursts of energy and focus without the grogginess that can accompany waking from deep bilateral sleep. Owls' unique adaptations extend beyond sleep and sensory processing. Their feathers are specially structured to muffle sound, aiding stealth, and their strong talons and hooked beaks are designed for grasping and tearing prey. Sleep patterns that include partial alertness support these hunting strategies by ensuring the owl remains ready and responsive even during rest. From an evolutionary perspective, unihemispheric sleep in owls and other birds likely developed as a response to predation risk and the need for vigilance in variable environments. This form of sleep is widespread among birds, suggesting it provides significant survival advantages. Owls, with their nocturnal habits and solitary tendencies, exemplify the importance of this adaptation. Scientific studies involving EEG recordings have confirmed unihemispheric slow-wave sleep in many bird species, and observational evidence strongly supports its presence in owls. However, owls' elusive nature and nocturnal habits have made direct study challenging, leaving room for ongoing research to fully understand the nuances of their sleep. Understanding how owls balance sleep and vigilance enriches our appreciation of their place in the ecosystem and highlights the diversity of sleep strategies in the animal kingdom. It reminds us that sleep is not simply a time of unconsciousness, but a flexible, dynamic process shaped by millions of years of evolution. Next time you hear the soft hoot of an owl piercing the night, or spot one resting motionless in a tree during daylight hours, consider the remarkable balance it maintains, part asleep, part awake, perfectly adapted to the challenges of life in the shadows. This elegant sleep strategy is just one of many ways owls continue to captivate us with their mystery, resilience, and extraordinary connection to the natural world. The marine world is home to many remarkable creatures, but few are as captivating as the cuttlefish when it comes to their sleep and rest behaviors. Cuttlefish, members of the cephalopod family, along with squids and octopuses, display a level of intelligence and complexity that rivals many vertebrates. Their nervous systems, camouflage capabilities, and behaviors suggest they have evolved sophisticated strategies for rest and sleep that are quite different from those of mammals or birds, yet equally fascinating. Cuttlefish have large, complex brains relative to their body size, with highly developed lobes responsible for learning, memory, and sensory processing. These advanced neural structures indicate that rest and sleep likely play important roles in maintaining their cognitive functions. However, because cuttlefish are aquatic invertebrates, their sleep states and mechanisms are less well understood compared to terrestrial animals. Still, research is beginning to shed light on how these creatures manage rest in an environment that demands constant alertness and quick reflexes. Unlike mammals that often exhibit slow wave and REM sleep phases, cuttlefish appear to enter periods of quiescence characterized by reduced activity and responsiveness, which researchers interpret as sleep-like states. During these periods, cuttlefish typically settle on the seafloor or remain motionless in the water column, displaying subdued body patterns and colors. These restful phases help conserve energy and support physiological recovery after active hunting and complex interactions. One of the most intriguing observations in cuttlefish sleep behavior is their remarkable ability to change skin color and texture even while resting. These changes, controlled by specialized pigment cells called chromatophores, often occur in rhythmic patterns reminiscent of rapid eye movement, REM, sleep, seen in mammals. This has led scientists to speculate that cuttlefish experience a form of REM-like sleep, involving neural activity related to processing visual information or memory consolidation. The dynamic skin patterning during these sleep states suggests that cuttlefish brains remain quite active, even while the animal is physically still. This activity may serve functions similar to dreaming or neural reorganization observed in other animals, although the exact nature of cuttlefish dreams, if they occur, remains a mystery. Such complex, sleep-related behavior highlights the cognitive sophistication of these cephalopods and points to the evolutionary importance of sleep across vastly different branches of the animal kingdom. In terms of survival, the ability to enter restful states without becoming completely unresponsive is crucial for cuttlefish. Their habitats often include coral reefs, rocky seabeds, and open waters teeming with predators. Unlike marine mammals that can rely on unihemispheric sleep, cuttlefish do not have a brain divided into hemispheres in the same way. Instead, they must balance the need for rest with the imperative to detect threats using their keen eyesight and lateral line systems. While the exact mechanisms are not fully understood, cuttlefish seem to have evolved behavioral strategies that allow for brief but effective periods of rest. They may choose sheltered crevices or camouflage themselves extensively during these times, reducing visibility to predators. This combination of behavioral and physiological adaptations helps cuttlefish navigate the constant tension between rest and alertness in their environment. Cuttlefish also exhibit impressive learning and memory abilities, demonstrated in laboratory experiments where they solve mazes, remember objects, and adapt their camouflage based on experience. The presence of sleep-like states with complex neural activity suggests that rest is vital for processing and storing this information, much like in higher vertebrates. Moreover, cuttlefish sleep patterns may vary with age, environmental conditions, and activity levels. Juvenile cuttlefish might require more frequent rest for growth and neural development, while adults balance rest with mating and hunting demands. Changes in water temperature, light levels, and predator presence can also influence the duration and quality of their sleep-like states. Studying cuttlefish sleep is not only fascinating from a biological perspective, but also offers insights into the evolution of sleep itself. As an invertebrate with a highly developed nervous system, cuttlefish challenge our understanding of the fundamental functions of sleep and the diversity of neural architectures that support it. Their sleep behaviors bridge the gap between simple reflexive rest and complex, cognition-linked sleep seen in mammals and birds. Furthermore, understanding how cuttlefish manage rest can have broader implications for cephalopod welfare in captivity and conservation in the wild. Ensuring these animals have opportunities for proper rest is essential for their health and cognitive functioning, especially as cephalopods are increasingly studied and kept in aquariums. Next time you marvel at a cuttlefish's shifting colors or watch its graceful movements beneath the waves, remember that beneath its mesmerizing exterior lies a brain engaged in a delicate balance of activity and rest. This balance supports the cuttlefish's incredible abilities to learn, adapt, and survive in a complex, ever-changing world, a testament to the many fascinating ways life has evolved to meet the universal need for sleep. Sea turtles are ancient mariners of the ocean, navigating vast distances across open waters while returning faithfully to the beaches where they were born to lay their eggs. Their long lifespans and epic migratory journeys are well known, but less often discussed are the unique challenges sea turtles face when it comes to rest and sleep in a watery environment that offers few safe havens. Unlike land animals that can retreat to secure spots, sea turtles must adapt their sleep behaviors to survive in an ever-changing ocean filled with predators and environmental hazards.
One of the key challenges sea turtles face is the need to breathe air. Like all reptiles, sea turtles cannot extract oxygen from water and must surface periodically to breathe. This makes deep, uninterrupted sleep impossible in the traditional sense because they cannot become fully unconscious for long periods without risking drowning. To navigate this dilemma, sea turtles have developed behavioral strategies and physiological adaptations that allow them to rest while maintaining sufficient awareness to surface for air regularly.
During rest periods, sea turtles often float at the surface or wedge themselves into shallow crevices or under rocks, where currents are gentle and predators less likely to intrude. In these semi-secure locations, they can enter a restful state marked by reduced movement and lowered responsiveness to stimuli. However, they retain enough alertness to control their breathing and respond quickly if disturbed. This balance between rest and vigilance is vital for their survival, as predators such as sharks and large fish lurk beneath the waves, always ready to seize an unguarded moment. Some studies suggest that sea turtles may engage in a form of unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, similar to that observed in certain marine mammals and birds, where one half of the brain rests while the other remains awake. This would allow them to maintain vital functions, such as surfacing for air and scanning their surroundings for threats, all while receiving some of the restorative benefits of sleep. Although direct evidence in sea turtles is limited due to the challenges of studying sleep in wild marine reptiles, behavioral observations support the idea that they never fully lose awareness during rest. Sea turtles' sleep patterns also vary depending on their environment and life stage. Juvenile turtles, which are more vulnerable to predation, may rest more cautiously and in safer, sheltered areas, while adults that have grown larger and tougher may afford to sleep in more exposed locations. Migrating turtles, constantly on the move between feeding and nesting grounds, may rest in brief, intermittent bouts, balancing the need to conserve energy with the demands of navigation. Resting sea turtles often close their eyes and slow their heart rates, entering a state of lowered metabolic activity that helps conserve oxygen. This physiological adaptation is crucial during sleep because it extends the time they can spend underwater without needing to surface. Some turtles can hold their breath for several hours when resting or sleeping underwater, using stored oxygen efficiently while maintaining minimal movement. During nesting seasons, female sea turtles exhibit different sleep behaviors as they come ashore to lay eggs. On land, they can enter deeper sleep states with less need for vigilance against aquatic predators. However, terrestrial dangers such as humans, predators like raccoons, or environmental disturbances still require occasional alertness. Even on the beach, sea turtles maintain a delicate balance between rest and awareness. Sea turtles' unique respiratory and sleep adaptations highlight the broader theme of how aquatic reptiles manage the universal need for rest in a challenging environment. Their strategies exemplify the evolutionary innovations that allow life to thrive in diverse habitats, overcoming physiological limitations and environmental threats. Understanding sea turtle sleep has practical implications for conservation. Human activities such as coastal development, light pollution,
and marine traffic can disrupt resting and nesting behaviors, increasing stress and reducing survival rates. Protecting natural resting areas and minimizing disturbances during critical periods are essential for the health of sea turtle populations. The study of sea turtle sleep also contributes to comparative biology, offering insights into how different classes of animals solve similar problems through diverse physiological and behavioral means. Their adaptations contrast with those of marine mammals, fish, and birds, highlighting the richness of life's solutions to the challenges posed by aquatic living. Next time you see a sea turtle gliding serenely beneath the waves or basking quietly near the shore, remember the intricate balance it maintains between rest and vigilance. This balance is not just a biological necessity, but a profound example of nature's resilience and creativity, ensuring that these ancient creatures continue their journeys through the oceans for generations to come. Sharks are often portrayed as relentless predators of the deep, constantly on the move and always alert. While this image captures much of their behavior, it overlooks a fascinating aspect of their biology: how sharks manage to rest and sleep in an environment where stillness can be dangerous and where they must keep breathing to survive. Unlike many animals that can simply close their eyes and lie down to sleep, sharks face unique physiological and ecological challenges that have shaped their rest patterns in remarkable ways. Sharks rely on a method called ram ventilation to breathe, which means they must swim continuously to force water over their gills and extract oxygen. This necessity poses a major question. How can a shark rest or sleep if it must keep swimming? Scientists have discovered that sharks have evolved several strategies to balance the need for rest with the imperative of continuous movement and oxygen intake. These strategies vary widely depending on the species, habitat, and lifestyle of the shark in question. Some shark species, particularly those that live in open waters like the great white or mako sharks, appear to keep swimming almost constantly, using what might be considered a form of active rest. During these periods, sharks swim more slowly and with less effort, reducing their metabolic rate while maintaining enough movement to breathe. It is thought that in this state, parts of their brain may enter rest phases, allowing the shark to recuperate without fully shutting down. Other shark species, such as nurse sharks and some bottom dwellers, have developed an ability to pump water over their gills using their buccal muscles, which means they can remain stationary while still breathing. These sharks often rest motionless on the ocean floor, entering deeper sleep states similar to those of terrestrial animals. In these moments of relative stillness, they lower their activity levels and responsiveness to stimuli, achieving genuine rest without the constant need to swim. Sharks' sleep-like states are not fully understood, but research involving brain activity measurements has shown evidence of reduced neural activity during rest periods. While they may not exhibit the typical REM sleep seen in mammals and birds, sharks still demonstrate important restorative processes during these quieter times. These restorative periods are essential for maintaining their health, sensory function, and hunting efficiency. One of the most fascinating adaptations in sharks is their ability to switch between different modes of respiration and rest depending on circumstances. For example, some sharks may alternate between swimming slowly with continuous ram ventilation and resting on the seafloor using buccal pumping. This flexibility allows them to optimize energy use and safety, choosing the best strategy based on environmental conditions and predator or prey presence. Sharks also possess keen sensory systems, including electroreception and an acute sense of smell, which remain functional during their rest states. Maintaining partial awareness helps sharks detect potential threats or prey, even when they are less active. This sensory vigilance is crucial in the open ocean, where risks and opportunities can appear suddenly. The ecological role of sharks as apex predators means their sleep behaviors also impact the broader marine ecosystem. Efficient rest allows sharks to sustain their energy-intensive hunting strategies, contributing to the balance of marine food webs. Understanding shark sleep and rest helps conservationists better protect these species, many of which face threats from overfishing, habitat loss, and climate change. In captivity, providing environments that allow sharks to exhibit natural rest behaviors is essential for their welfare. Observations in aquariums have confirmed that some sharks rest on the bottom or swim slowly during rest periods, behaviors that must be supported through tank design and management. Studying these behaviors not only benefits captive animals, but also enhances our understanding of wild shark ecology. The study of shark sleep and rest is still emerging, with many mysteries remaining. How exactly their brains cycle through rest and activity, how long their rest periods last, and how different species vary in their strategies are active areas of research. Advances in technology, such as miniaturized brain monitors and underwater cameras, are opening new windows into the secret lives of these ancient predators. Next time you think of sharks, consider not just their power and ferocity, but also the subtle balance they maintain between movement and rest, awareness and relaxation. This balance is a testament to millions of years of evolution, shaping creatures perfectly adapted to life in the vast and unpredictable ocean. Dolphins are among the most intelligent and social creatures of the ocean, known for their playful behavior, complex communication, and remarkable problem-solving skills. Their ability to rest and sleep in a challenging aquatic environment reflects an extraordinary balance between the need for restorative rest and the necessity to remain alert for both predators and social interactions. Unlike humans, who enjoy uninterrupted sleep, dolphins have evolved unique sleep strategies that allow them to thrive in the marine world. One of the most fascinating aspects of dolphin sleep is their use of unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. This means that one half of the dolphin's brain sleeps while the other half stays awake and alert. This adaptation is vital for several reasons. First, it allows dolphins to continue surfacing for air, as they are voluntary breathers and must consciously breathe rather than relying on an automatic respiratory system like humans. Second, it ensures they maintain enough awareness to detect predators, navigate their environment, and communicate with pod members even while resting. During unihemispheric sleep, one eye remains open, the eye opposite to the sleeping hemisphere, allowing dolphins to visually monitor their surroundings. This partial sleep enables them to rest while still being partially responsive to external stimuli. It's a remarkable compromise between the biological need for sleep and the ecological demands of life in the ocean. Dolphins often rest near the surface or swim slowly alongside other pod members during these rest periods. The social structure of dolphin pods adds another layer of complexity to their sleep habits. Being social animals, dolphins rely heavily on group cohesion for protection and cooperative hunting. This means that rest and sleep are often coordinated within the pod to maintain collective vigilance. In addition to unihemispheric sleep, dolphins also experience short bouts of bilateral sleep, where both brain hemispheres rest simultaneously. These episodes are typically brief and usually occur during periods of safety and minimal external threat. However, extended bilateral sleep like humans experience is rare in dolphins, given the continuous demands of breathing and environmental awareness. The physical manifestations of dolphin sleep are subtle but observable. When resting, dolphins often slow their movements and adopt a more relaxed posture, sometimes floating near the surface or gently gliding through the water. Their breathing patterns become more regular but remain conscious, ensuring that they surface for air as needed. Eye closure on the sleeping side is partial or complete, depending on the depth of rest. The need for such specialized sleep is underscored by the dolphin's environment. The ocean can be unpredictable and dangerous, with predators like sharks lurking, boat traffic posing risks, and complex social dynamics requiring constant attention. Dolphins' unihemispheric sleep allows them to mitigate these risks while still fulfilling their physiological need to rest. Moreover, dolphins' sleep strategies support their impressive cognitive functions. Studies have shown that dolphins are capable of learning, memory, and problem-solving, abilities that depend on adequate sleep for neural recovery and information processing. The ability to sleep with half the brain at a time may help dolphins maximize rest without compromising the brain's maintenance and plasticity. Rest and sleep also play crucial roles in dolphins' physical health. By reducing muscle activity and metabolic rate during rest periods, dolphins conserve energy essential for their active lifestyles, which include long-distance travel, hunting, social play, and raising young. Efficient rest also helps regulate bodily functions such as immune responses and tissue repair. The study of dolphin sleep has been facilitated by advances in technology, including EEG monitoring and underwater observation. Researchers have documented patterns of brain activity confirming unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, and have begun to understand the nuances of sleep cycles in these marine mammals. However, many aspects remain to be explored, such as how environmental factors like noise pollution or habitat changes affect dolphin sleep quality. Understanding dolphin sleep has important conservation implications. Human activities increasingly disrupt marine environments, introducing noise and disturbances that can interfere with dolphins' rest. Protecting critical habitats and minimizing disturbances during key rest periods are vital for maintaining healthy dolphin populations. Beyond science, dolphin sleep behavior captures our imagination, illustrating the extraordinary adaptations life has developed to meet the demands of different habitats. Dolphins remind us that sleep is not a simple, universal process, but a flexible and dynamic phenomenon shaped by millions of years of evolution and ecological pressures. Next time you watch dolphins gracefully surfacing or leaping through waves, consider the intricate balance they maintain between rest and alertness. This balance allows them to flourish in the vast ocean, embodying resilience, intelligence, and the remarkable ingenuity of nature. Bats are among the most intriguing mammals when it comes to sleep and rest, combining unique behavioral and physiological adaptations that allow them to thrive in a world of darkness. As nocturnal creatures, bats rely on the cover of night for foraging, using echolocation to navigate and hunt insects with remarkable precision. Their sleep habits reflect a balance between conserving energy during daylight hours and staying alert enough to respond to potential threats within their roosting sites. Unlike many animals that sleep in simple, open locations, bats often choose sheltered and secure roosts such as caves, tree hollows, or abandoned buildings. These sites offer protection from predators and environmental extremes, creating relatively safe environments where bats can enter deep, restorative sleep. During the day, bats hang upside down, clinging to surfaces with their specialized feet, a posture that also aids quick takeoffs if danger approaches. Bats enter sleep with characteristic cycles similar to other mammals, including rapid eye movement, REM, and non-REM stages. These sleep phases play crucial roles in memory consolidation, neural maintenance, and physical recovery. However, their sleep patterns are often fragmented, with multiple short naps throughout the day rather than a single long sleep period, a pattern adapted to their specific ecological niche. One of the most fascinating aspects of bat sleep is their ability to enter torpor, a state of significantly reduced metabolic rate and body temperature. Torpor allows bats to conserve energy during times of food scarcity or harsh environmental conditions. While torpor is not identical to sleep, it often occurs during their rest periods and serves a complementary role in managing energy budgets. In colder climates or seasons, some bat species even enter hibernation, an extended form of torpor that enables survival through winter months when insects are scarce. Despite their generally secure roosting habits, bats must remain somewhat vigilant during sleep. Their social structures often involve large colonies, which helps provide safety in numbers. Still, the noise and movement within a colony require bats to be responsive to their neighbors, predators, or disturbances. Some species have developed the ability to awaken quickly and flee if threatened, demonstrating a finely tuned balance between rest and readiness. Sleep also supports the impressive cognitive and sensory abilities of bats. Echolocation requires precise neural coordination and processing power, and sleep facilitates the neural repair and memory formation necessary for these complex behaviors. Studies suggest that sleep deprivation negatively affects bats' navigation and hunting efficiency, underscoring the importance of adequate rest. Bats' unique physiology further influences their sleep needs. Their lightweight bodies and wing membranes require careful energy management to maintain flight muscles and sensory organs. Sleep periods help repair tissue and conserve energy for the intense bursts of activity they undertake at night. Additionally, sleep supports immune function, which is vital given bats' roles as reservoirs for various viruses and their exposure to pathogens in dense roosting environments. The study of bat sleep has also contributed to broader scientific understanding of sleep's evolutionary diversity. Bats demonstrate that sleep architecture can be highly flexible and adapted to ecological demands, ranging from fragmented naps to torpor and hibernation. This flexibility highlights sleep's fundamental role across species while showcasing its remarkable variability. Human impacts on bat habitats, including cave disturbances, deforestation, and climate change, pose threats to their sleep and rest cycles. Disruption of roosting sites can force bats into less secure locations, increasing stress and vulnerability. Conservation efforts aimed at protecting natural roosts and minimizing human interference are essential for preserving healthy bat populations and their critical ecological roles as pollinators, seed dispersers, and insect controllers. In summary, bats exemplify the complex interplay between environmental pressures, physiological needs, and behavioral adaptations that shape sleep. Their nocturnal lifestyle and reliance on echolocation demand unique sleep strategies that balance deep rest with vigilance and energy conservation. By studying bats, we gain valuable insights into the diverse ways animals have evolved to meet the universal need for sleep in challenging habitats. Next time you hear the fluttering of bat wings at dusk, or catch a glimpse of these enigmatic creatures darting through the night sky, remember the intricate rest cycles that sustain their remarkable lives. Bats remind us of nature's incredible adaptability and the subtle balances that enable survival in every corner of our planet. Owls have long fascinated humans with their mysterious nocturnal habits, silent flight, and piercing eyes that seem to glow in the darkness. These incredible birds have evolved highly specialized behaviors and physiological traits that allow them to thrive in the night, including unique patterns of rest and sleep that ensure they remain effective hunters and alert sentinels of the night. Understanding how owls sleep offers insight not only into their survival strategies, but also into the remarkable ways animals adapt to their ecological niches. Unlike many diurnal birds that sleep in long, consolidated periods during the night, owls are primarily nocturnal and must balance their need for sleep with the demands of hunting under the cover of darkness. During the daytime, when they are inactive, owls typically find secluded and secure roosting spots, such as dense foliage, hollow trees, or rocky ledges, where they can rest undisturbed. These locations offer protection from predators and harsh weather, allowing owls to enter deep, restorative sleep phases. Owls' sleep cycles resemble those of other birds, including phases of slow-wave sleep and rapid eye movement, REM sleep. REM sleep, in particular, is associated with memory consolidation and neural repair, processes essential for the complex behaviors owls display, such as silent flight, precise auditory localization, and visual acuity in low light. However, owls must remain somewhat vigilant even while resting, as threats from larger predators or disturbances from humans and other animals can occur during the day. One of the most fascinating aspects of owl sleep is their ability to maintain a state of quiet alertness. Even during rest, owls can respond quickly to changes in their environment. Their acute hearing and excellent night vision mean that they can detect subtle movements and sounds, allowing them to awaken rapidly if necessary. This heightened state of awareness while sleeping reflects an evolutionary trade-off between rest and survival, ensuring owls can avoid danger and seize hunting opportunities. Owls also display a remarkable ability to sleep with one eye open at times, a behavior known as unihemispheric sleep. This adaptation, shared with some marine mammals and other bird species, allows one hemisphere of the brain to rest while the other remains alert. By doing so, owls can keep watch for potential threats or competitors while still gaining some of the restorative benefits of sleep. This is especially useful in open or exposed roosting sites where complete unconsciousness would be risky. The timing of sleep in owls is closely linked to their circadian rhythms and the availability of prey.
Owls are most active during twilight and nighttime hours, hunting for rodents, insects, and other small animals. After a night of activity, they need to recover through sufficient sleep during the day. However, they must also be flexible enough to adjust their rest if disturbed or if environmental conditions change. Owls' physical adaptations support their unique sleep and hunting patterns. Their facial discs funnel sound to their ears, aiding in pinpointing prey even under leaves or snow. Their silent feathers reduce noise during flight, enabling stealthy approaches. Sleep supports the maintenance and sharpening of these adaptations, ensuring owls remain top predators in their ecosystems. The study of owl sleep has been enhanced by advances in technology, such as brainwave monitoring and motion-sensitive cameras. These tools have revealed insights into the balance owls strike between sleep and vigilance, shedding light on how environmental stresses, such as habitat loss and light pollution, may impact their natural behaviors. Artificial lighting, for example, can disrupt owls' circadian rhythms and interfere with their sleep cycles, reducing hunting efficiency and overall health. Conservation efforts aimed at protecting owl habitats, minimizing human disturbances, and reducing light pollution are critical for ensuring that these birds can maintain healthy sleep and activity patterns. By safeguarding their natural roosting sites and preserving the ecosystems they depend on, we help owls continue their vital roles as controllers of rodent populations and indicators of environmental health. Beyond their ecological importance, owls continue to inspire wonder and curiosity. Their silent flights through moonlit skies and their haunting calls evoke a sense of mystery that has permeated human culture for centuries. The fact that these majestic birds can balance the demands of sleep with constant vigilance serves as a powerful reminder of nature's ingenuity and the adaptability of life. Next time you hear the distant hoot of an owl or catch a glimpse of one gliding silently through the night, think about the complex rhythms of rest and alertness that sustain its life. Owls embody the delicate balance between vulnerability and strength, rest and readiness, an extraordinary testament to survival in the nocturnal world.